Hey, this is Seb from socialanxietysolutions.com, and we're about to kick off the 30-day Social Confidence Challenge. We're getting closer and closer and closer. Anticipation is building. Anxiety is rising. No, excitement is rising, and maybe anxiety is rising as well. You know, how's this going to go for me? Am I going to get the results that I hope for? Well, there are a lot of worries and concerns and things that happen internally as you think about this challenge, as you think about participating in this challenge. And statistics from previous challenges show that actually more than 50% of the people that joined the challenge, that signed up for it, never actually started, which is absolutely bonkers, as my friend in the UK would say, which is absolutely crazy, because if you don't do anything different, you're not going to get any different results. So your social anxiety is going to remain the same if you don't take any action. And I interviewed Graham, who did the challenge and completed the challenge, and he had a lot of internal struggles and concerns as he went through it. And he talks about this in the interview. I think it's very helpful. You can adopt some of his mindset, and that's going to really help you get started on the 30-day Social Confidence Challenge. So before you get to see that interview, just take this one piece of advice. When it's January 1st and you get that first email, open the email, click, and read it. And then when you get the video, click on the video, and that's it. Follow along. That's gonna start the momentum for you. Even if you don't feel like it, do it anyway. We don't need feel the fear and do it anyway. No, feel the resistance and take the tapping action anyway. All right? Okay, there you go. Enjoy. Here we go right now. What did you like best about it?
I don't know if it was one particular thing. It was a variety of things, actually. So I really liked the idea that on each particular day, there was something actually like there was something drawing me to each particular day. So the accountability for sure, especially because my resistance to do it was quite strong at that point. I hadn't really got my momentum going yet. So the fact that I knew each day you would be releasing a new video, I felt accountable for that to actually be showing up and doing it. And even if I missed a day, I still had the recording and I could actually go back and run it through a couple of times, because some of the ones that I really enjoyed, I would actually be running through 3 or 4 times, just letting it sink in more. So
Mm, mm.
yeah.
The people that joined the challenges, more than 50%, did not even start the challenge. So they signed up for it and then didn't do it. What would you say to people like that?
Yeah, I was definitely one of those people, not who didn't actually complete the challenge, but I definitely had that feeling. Even at the start of each day, there was that kind of resistance, like maybe another time kind of feeling. And I think just being aware of the fact that that's going to be a thing you're going to have to deal with at the start, you're going to get past it, and enough momentum will actually get built up that the train will continue to run without you almost at that point. But almost at the start, when the resistance is really strong, it's almost like there's a part of you trying to keep yourself safe by not doing it, but try to marshal more of that other part of you that says, no, this is good for me and this will help me, because it really does help you and it really is good for you. So just try to listen more to that side of yourself, still knowing that there is going to be resistance. So yeah, just being aware of that, really making yourself, however you can do it, if you have to go for a run or whatever, come back, whatever you can do to find the motivation to actually start it, because you just have to start it and keep going every day. And then by the end of the 30 days, it's like a big transformation.
Mm. And yeah, you have to force yourself to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to, because there's
Yeah.
a part of you that's screaming like, no, I'd rather go, pat my cat, watch Netflix, do whatever. I mean, some people are excited, but there's a fair bit of people that are experiencing a lot of resistance. And so then it's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'll do it one day. You come up with lots of excuses. I'll do it the next time. Or, and I think part of a lot of the resistance, by the way, we're addressing resistance in depth within the challenge, and dedicating several days of it of the challenge to working on resistance. A lot of what I think that causes people resistance is thinking, well, this is not going to work for me. This might work for other people, but this will just be another thing that won't work for me. I've tried CBT, I've done hypnosis, I've done NLP, I've done this, that, blah, blah, blah. Nothing works for me. So if I'm going to start this, then this will be another thing that just won't show up to do the work. Like I see all of these other people make transformation, but for me, it's going to be yet another disappointment. So I don't want to face that. So don't go there. Don't even try it. Which is very sad, because that attitude that has naturally slipped in when you try something and it's supposed to work and then it doesn't, that's a big disappointment. And then you can start thinking, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? Is it really all broken up there? Am I the toughest case around? And that kind of thinking is very common. But if you let those voices dominate, and that tiny sliver of hope, if you don't listen to that voice, then no change is going to happen. If you keep doing what you've always been doing, nothing is going to be different, right? It's only common sense. So you got to force yourself to listen to that little bit of hope and just do it anyway. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say like skepticism is fine, because I was very skeptical as well. But it's like, I think the 30-day format was really cool, and it was really cool for me as well, because it provides the ability to have an experience. And once you've actually had an experience with tapping, then it all starts to make sense. It's just when you're standing at the gate almost looking into it, then it's like seems pretty ridiculous. But once you actually go through the days, each day you do the tap along, even if you feel stupid doing it, like find a private place in your house, say it in your head, whatever, then you actually have the experience, and then it all starts to make sense after that. It's just standing back from the gate. If you never actually jump in, then yeah, as you said, nothing is really going to happen, and there's no better moment to start than now. It sounds a little cliche, but yeah, you just got to jump into it, and it will definitely change things.
And to give you some scarcity, it is indeed not going to happen for another year, because it takes a lot of time, resources, and energy to put this thing together. So it's I'm just doing it this time. And to add on to what you're saying, I had Dawson Church, PhD researcher, on my podcast, and he talks about there's more than 100 scientific studies backing up EFT, the technique that you're going to be learning about, that you're going to be guided through. And there's more than 100 scientific studies backing up its effectiveness. And these are there are several randomized control trials, as well as meta-analyses, which is like the highest, it's the gold standard of science. So there's lots and lots of science backing up its effectiveness. This is what he said on the podcast. He's like, but the biggest convincer for people is to actually feel shifts in your body. When you are tuned into a particular fear and you rate it an 8 out of 10, and you do a tap along, and 10 minutes later, that fear is not an 8 anymore, but it's a 5, or it's even a 0, which often happens as well. You're like, oh my God, I feel really different now. There is something going on with this odd looking technique, right? What did you get out of it?
A lot. At that point, when was that? May or April? Something like that. Yeah, as I was saying, like the resistance was still very strong. And also my mood was just generally not the greatest at that time. And then, yeah, I really like the different stages. I won't like talk too much about them right now, but yeah, just the whole thing together was such a difference between like where I started at and then where I ended up at, especially when I went back and started to do more of the videos again. And that was really cool. Like if there was a particular one on like compassion that I really liked, then I would go back and I would do that one like 3 or 4 times and then just really sink it in. So yeah, what did I get out of it? Probably the self-compassion thing was the biggest one for me. Because I was beating myself up like so much at the start, and I was honestly still doing it a little bit at the end as well, but it was still a big difference, right? It didn't completely clear it for me, but it definitely reduced it a lot.
Mm.
And I was like on my own team. I was starting to be more of a friend to myself at that point rather than like an enemy, kind of like a Gollum Smeagol kind of relationship that
Mm.
switched around.
Right.
And then yeah, I was more like on my own side. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, it's an experience, like it's a 30-day challenge. And when you've had social anxiety for your whole life, such as most people going through the challenge, it's unlikely, this is the truth, that you're going to resolve your social anxiety within these 30 days. But it is very likely that you're going to chip away at it and things are going to improve. And for some people, that will be this much improvement. And for some people, it will be this much improvement. I cannot tell that beforehand. It's different for different people, and different people get different outcomes from it. For some people, the negative critical inner voice begins to shift around and turns a lot more compassionate. For other people, their anxiety intensity reduces significantly. Some people notice that in particular situations, they don't feel anxious anymore. Other people start to become nicer towards themselves. Other people become more lighthearted and more easygoing. It's different for different people, because I talk about this a lot in the challenge as well. It's a journey to go from where you're at to effortless social ease. And there are different stages along that journey. There are 5 stages that I've defined actually, and I'll talk about that at great length. And there are different milestones along the way. There are 21 milestones that I'll be talking about as well. But you're going on a bit of a ride, but it's very empowering because of the information that is shared, the mindsets. Like I've been doing this work professionally since 2009. I've been a coach in 2009, but I started looking for social anxiety solutions when I was 17. So that's almost 20 years ago. So the first 8 years, I was obsessed with personal development and psychology and this, that, and the other. And then when I found tapping and energy psychology, I started to combine that. And what I've put in these 30 days is the best of the best. The most essential core concepts, the most empowering information from 19 years of all of that. Having spent about $120,000 on coaches and therapy and trainings all over the world. So it is really, really empowering information, and it stacks on top of each other. So you force yourself, if you have to start day one, and that will give you a bit of a boost, and it will get you, it will build some anticipation for day two. Now you go to day two, and now you've got some momentum going, and you build anticipation for day three. Lots of people were saying in the comment section, I've never made it so far in a challenge, or I feel excited doing this work, or I'm looking forward to the new video. Because it's built up in such a way that it's building you up. It's helping you change your belief system about what is possible in terms of change, how your psychology works. There's a lot in this. So, have hope. There's good reason to be hopeful. Okay. And there's no, fluffy uber positivity. This is real like I'm not sharing things that are not true, because why would I? That will not help you, it will not help me, it will not help anyone. I'm only sharing things that are true, and that it is sometimes very realistic. So that's it. So join it, get excited about it. Graham, what do you think? You got anything else to say?
I don't think so. Just
Yeah.
it was cool. It's really cool connecting with people around the world as well. I liked that. Different locations, but like one common goal, and everybody is trying to help themselves. So
Exactly. I love the vibe in how nice people actually are
oh man, it
to each other.
shocked me. Yeah. It
Yeah.
shocked me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful people. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So very warm, friendly, non-judgmental environment, um, of everyone supporting each other, because you're going through a tough time. That's the reality of the situation. So what you need in that moment is compassion, and inspiration and motivation, and an effective technique. So you're getting all of that in the free 30-day Social Confidence Challenge. Is the end of the promo talk. So go sign up at bit.ly/social confidence challenge, bit.ly/social confidence challenge. And Graham, thank you very much for sharing. Much
No
appreciated.
problem. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Bye for now.